Morning, everybody. Welcome to Some Idiot Reads. I'm Cy. I'm some idiot. And you're here to listen to me read some stuff. Or your YouTube algorithm brought you here. In which case, hi. How's it going? Sorry if I look like crap. I feel kind of like I look like crap. I went to a really awesome concert last night. And I am up way too freaking early to go ahead and do this. But I'm going to do it anyway. For you. So, last week we did some more unsong. So what that means is this week we would be doing another one of the phenomenal works by Sir Coyote Wallace over on his Medium page. Link is in the description. You should make a point. Go over there. Normally this button right here says following for me. Normally that's going to be green for you. I think. It's been so long since I've been following him. Do you have that problem? Like, you just don't remember what color that button was supposed to be? Because, like, you've been following him for that long? If you haven't, you should really go ahead and try it. Did that messaging work? Do you feel inclined to click the follow button? Even just for laughs? Just for fun? For, like, a subliminal... I'm gonna stop. Give him a follow. Enjoy it. I know those numbers are going up. That's fantastic. Every last one of you are beautiful. However, additional reason why I'm going to go into do Coyote today is he just wrote this one yesterday. Like, this one's brand new, hot off the digital press. So I don't really want to say that I'm excited for the horrors that I believe this to be extolling, but I'm excited in all the appropriate ways. I'm 2 minutes in on my rambling. Viewer retention's going to drop. Let's dive in. We're going to read today The Dollars and the Dead. The Cruelty of Medicaid Cuts in Appalachia. Let's start out. We have a coyote, a rather sassy, snarky, eyebrow raised, screw you look. At least that's what I'm projecting onto it. Appalachia is a land that has always known its fair share of hardships. From the many dangers of mining coal, to the wild and sometimes woolly weather, and the general remoteness of the region itself. This is not a land for the faint of heart. Our history, woven into the very fabric of our mountains and valleys, is one filled with self-reliant explorers, trend-bucking trailblazers, and folks who are no strangers to hard work. Survival in these hills all but necessitates a temperament that borders on ornery and finds comfort in the challenges that isolation brings. A great deal of Appalachian culture is owed to that very isolation that is both bane and boon to our people. The Blue Ridge Mountains have always possessed a strange, almost eldritch power to seemingly slow time. The world beyond them may move at a breakneck pace, but Father Time holds little sway in King Cole's kingdom. I really like that sentence. That's an awesome sentence right there, Coyote. That's solid. At times, the two almost seem at war. For while modern conveniences have made their way here, they're often offset by a lack of fundamental social infrastructure, things our city-born brethren might take for granted, or they coexist with relics long discarded elsewhere. Follows is a rather beautiful picture of what I can only assume to be Appalachian countryside. Nestled within our valleys, hills, winding creeks, and forgotten backwood corners are pockets of society that remain both connected to the modern world and strangely apart from it. These small slices of rural culture, now linked to the World Wide Web, remain remarkably unchanged in composition, financial prospects, and their knack for making do with whatever's at hand. For more than 100 years, the people of Appalachia, my people, have endured economic hardship, pollution-induced disease, corrupt governments, and even violence. This is the birthplace of the Redneck Army, the beating heart of America's coal industry, and an all too often forgotten chapter of the American dream. Here, the UMWA and brave miners fought for the rights of all working people. Moonshiners thwarted revenuers, and the blood and sweat of Appalachia's patchwork people helped fuel the American Industrial Revolution. Pictured, some miners, deep in the mines. Now, the richest men and women in America conspire to steal away what's left of our health care, cutting Medicaid and shuttering rural hospitals and clinics. These actions, whatever their so-called intent, will bring dire consequences. Less healthcare means more death. Fewer hospitals means more suffering. And fewer living Appalachians, when it's all said and done, means that we have failed as a people. Well, I say, if you intend to hand down a death sentence to the good people of Appalachia, you rotten bastards, then I shall have some words for you. Fill your hands, old sons. I am Coyote Wallace. This is the Dispatches from Appalachia. And today, we're talking about the dollars and the dead, the cruelty of Medicaid cuts in Appalachia. Learning the land. Before one can begin to grasp the monstrosity of the proposed cuts to Medicaid and other government programs by the Trump administration, and what those cuts will do to the people of Appalachia, one must first understand the general layout of our region. The remoteness and near impenetrability of our mountains have kept as many of us in as they have kept interlopers out. This rugged terrain has traditionally limited economic development and kept many aspects of early trade out of the region. The steep slopes, dense forests, treacherous soil, and broad-bottomed mountains have long disrupted efforts by the economically minded to build roads, railways, or other means of commerce. Follows as a picture, clearing of the southern Appalachian forests, 1800s. Hell, the first stone road didn't reach Wheeling, Virginia until 1811. And the first road through Middlesboro, Kentucky wouldn't exist until 1908. Just in case you needed an idea of how slow progress can move in the mountains. Many of the earliest settlements in these hills were supplied not by convoy or train, but by pack mule and flatboats that ferried goods up rivers that could turn treacherous in an instant. Such means of supply faced challenges, both natural and criminal, in origin. And it goes without saying that as many flatboat captains lost their lives to river pirates as they did to the churning waters. Our isolation also gave King Coal, by which I mean the barons of the coal industry, plenty of room to operate. Here, sequestered from the eyes of the American public, the Appalachian people were starved, beaten, killed, and treated in ways unfit even for dogs. The coal industry was merciless in how it exploited men and plundered the land. And, by keeping other economic opportunities out of the region, it only strengthened King Coal's grip on our people. It follows as a picture. Mining camp, early 1920s. Even as late as the 40s and 50s, and in some regions, far beyond even that, there were places without running water, electricity, or even the most basic of utilities. We are a people who still, in many cases, have grandparents who remember what it was like not to have indoor plumbing. Our region was once so starved for literacy and so lacking in schools that the brave pack librarians were dispatched to carry knowledge into the dark corners of our hills. Another picture. Note the outdoor bathrooms. This is a black and white photo of rural Appalachia. Not sure what year, but note the outdoor bathrooms. Side by side with a train. While the remote nature of our existence has brought many difficulties, it is also the crucible in which our culture was forged and tested. All of us who trace our roots back through the years in this region inevitably reach the point where our immigrant ancestors signed away their lives to King Coal. Forced to live in close quarters and united by the dangers of the work and the cruelty of the paymasters, our ancestors' cultures fused into a superheated melting pot, a microcosm of the American experiment itself. Tinker Irish shared tales of haints over loaves of Italian bread. Proud black Americans taught the banjo to Polish boys with big-eyed dreams. Welsh miners taught their German brethren the secrets of surviving the coal pits. Our accent, which distinguishes us from both Yankee Bill and Johnny Reb, is itself the product of this cultural merger. Even the way we speak has been shaped by generations raised together in remote communities with their own rhythms, customs, and cadences. Follows a picture labeled Lorraine Coal Dock Company, Miners, April 1918. We were made by the cruel hands of King Coal and shaped by the isolation granted us by our mountains. Here, with our twisting roads and stretches of darkness that may never know electric light, it can take more than an hour just to travel a few miles. Even GPS can't reliably find an address. Here, when seconds matter and time is of the essence, the Appalachian people already pay double just to keep breathing. Medicine in the mountains. The Appalachian people, for all of our rough upbringings and hard-won self-reliance, are not without our flaws. The mortality rate from what's commonly known as the diseases of despair, drug overdose, suicide, liver failure from pills or drinking, is staggering in its scope. In these mountains, such conditions kill 36% more people than in any other region of the United States. Follows as a picture, Williamson Memorial Hospital, which will be closed by the proposed budget cuts. This depressing state of affairs is not new, nor is the disproportionate toll it takes some random fluke, as you shall see. Compounding these diseases of despair is the fact that generations of coal industry labor, a lack of healthy food options, the absence of public health infrastructure, and limited tobacco awareness programs have left Appalachia with one of the highest rates of chronic disease in the nation. Stroke, heart disease, COPD, silicosis, and diabetes all run rampant in our communities. These illnesses tear through families, and the long-term care required to treat them traps people in poverty. That poverty, in turn, fuels even more chronic disease, creating a vicious cycle that feeds on the suffering of the poor. Follows the picture. Lincoln Community Hospital will also be closed by these cuts. But it is not only the withering touch of sickness that we in the mountains must endure. Ever since the day of coal camps and pit ponies, even basic access to doctors and clinics has been a constant struggle. The same remoteness that once made it difficult to ship goods into our region also stymied the building of hospitals and doctors' offices. And the coming of the modern era did not fix that. It only made the divide more obvious. You see, Appalachia leads the nation in having the fewest specialty doctors per 100,000 people. As of this writing, we sit at a 65% lower rate of medical access than the rest of the country. Fewer doctors, fewer hospitals, fewer chances to live. For many Appalachian families, the nearest clinic or hospital may be hours away by car. Journeys for basic care cost both time and wages. And so, for many, those journeys simply never happen. And if you need an ambulance, you will likely die. You'll see why that's important in a moment. The only thing that has served to mitigate some of this hardship is the fact that a people already battered and ignored by their own nation have found a lifeline in the Medicaid program. Here in my native Kentucky, 1 out of every 3 residents receives some form of Medicaid assistance. This help is vital, not just for the elderly seeking dignity in their golden years, but for the first-time mother sobbing through the night as her baby breathes through a ventilator. Medicaid, flawed though it may be, has long been the thin wire holding countless Appalachians above the gaping maw of economic ruin. And now, wicked men have come to cut that wire and let my people fall. Death by 1,000 cuts. When I sat down to write this piece, I thought right about here was where I would begin ripping into the Republican Party for this proposed cruelty. I intended to roast Mike Johnson for having no soul, to slather J.D. Vance in literary napalm, and throw bricks made of words at the Orange King himself. I intended, with all fire and vigor and venom at my disposal, to light into those who would build their fine mansions on the bones of my people. I would fill my pen with fire and scorch the whole foul lot for their inhumanity and callous natures. They intend to cut more than $793 billion, with a B, dollars from a program that saves Appalachian lives over the next 10 years, while loading it down with work requirements and every other conceivable measure meant to kick people off their health care. This is an act of cruelty that is difficult to imagine in its scope, and the cost will not be measured simply in voter dissatisfaction, but in death and despair that will echo for generations in these mountains. They took our food stamps and made our children go hungry. They took our jobs and gutted our unions so their corporate masters could line their pockets just a little deeper. Now, folks like Mitch McConnell propose that we shall quote-unquote get over it when we are denied the basic human right of health care. While you lot deserve the fire, I shall not give it to you, for I have something far more personal to answer your cuts with. I, like many people, have long learned to carry our losses wherever we go. I can prove to your foul lot who believe we, the poor and forgotten, shall excuse your barbarity, give it enough time. I hate doing this. I hate you rotten bastards for making me do this. Pretty sure. Yeah, I know where this is going. I understand, man. As much as I can. Those that have followed my dispatches from Appalachia know that my mother was very important to me, and she played a tremendous role in shaping me into the person I am today. My mother was born in the coal camps of Wheelwright, Kentucky, and she worked her whole life to climb out of that pit. She overcame poverty, abusive men, and a system that was not always kind to her. She taught me the importance of seeing beyond a man's skin, how a gentleman should be around a lady, and the importance of standing up for the truth even when nobody else will. My mother was the sort of person that, even when we were low on money, would cook for all the kids in the neighborhood, because not all the kids in the neighborhood got supper that night. She loved horses and singing Dolly Parton songs badly and off-key. My mother, whose name was Sheila, by the way, Mr. McConnell, was the best goddamn person I have ever known in this world. Maybe I'm not objective in that matter, but I do believe it to be true, regardless. She was not perfect, but her heart was good, and there was no hate in her, save for that of bullies and men who hit their wives or their horses. She had blonde hair and green eyes that I see every day when I look at my sprat. I would walk through the fires of hell itself just to hear her voice one time. Look at her. Do you know how she died, Mr. McConnell? Hernia in her esophagus, just below the point where her breastbone was. Sorry, down here? Yeah. Ruptured inside of her at 3:19 a.m. one foggy night in May. Do you know what that entails, Mr. McConnell? Do you conceive of what I'm about to tell you? I was awoken from my sleep by the sound of my stepfather beating on my door, his face pale and his eyes wide, as he begged me to call the ambulance because my mother was dying. I rushed to her house, the operator already on the line, and discovered a river of blood pouring out of every place in my mother that it could escape. She was still conscious, you see, still awake and aware, and though the years had diminished her mind with dementia and other hardships, she knew she was in a bad way. She was so scared, Mr. McConnell. So terribly scared. Like a child. The nearest hospital was 2 towns away and had only 3 ambulances on call that night. All 3 were already out helping other people. The dispatcher told me the best thing I could do was wait by the road, so I could flag them down when they did come, and they wouldn't overlook our driveway. As I've said before, GPS is unreliable in our mountains, and that always adds time, especially when the men behind the wheel aren't trained to know the names of our curvy back roads. 45 minutes to an hour. Follows a picture captioned, "We're located in what's called an ambulance desert." That's how long it took for someone to get there to help my mother. Do you understand what I am telling you, sir? Do you comprehend what it is exactly that I am saying to you? The best person I have ever known died because there are not enough hospitals, not enough ambulances, not enough doctors, and not enough nurses in these hills to take care of us all. My mother died because men like you worry more about the dollar than they do about the graves filled by your greed. You miserable bastards took her from me, as you have taken countless others, and now you propose to take even more. You robbed my sprat of the chance to know her grandmother. You robbed me of the chance to show her that I became a writer. You robbed my community of the light that my mother brought into the world. And the only reason I'm not calling you what you really are is because she taught me not to speak that way when I am trying to make an important point. How does that make you Republicans feel? Pictured one of Mitch McConnell's homes. Do you feel anything at all? A final plea for sanity. Pictured, at best, a spineless fucking bastard arresting someone in a wheelchair. Today, even as I write this, there are men and women in wheelchairs being arrested in Washington. Yesterday, police were dispatched by the governor of West Virginia to break up protests as people grew angry with the impending losses. Our nation, one that survived both the scourge of slavery and the struggle of the civil rights movement, now teeters on the brink of an abyss that heralds its own destruction. The very fabric of who we are, our values, and our capacity for empathy is under assault by those who would see the world remade in the image of the oligarch. No one deserves to go through what I went through. No one, red or blue. Our nation is not defined by the freedoms it grants. For freedom without responsibility to the less fortunate is only oligarchy under a more appealing name. Our nation is not defined by our accomplishments. What good is celebrating a man walking on the moon while children starve in the streets? We were not the first to end slavery. We weren't the first to give women the right to vote. And we damn well weren't the first to get rid of monarchs and royalty. At its core, and at its very best, our nation is defined by our ability to empathize with and care for our neighbors. Be you Appalachian, Johnny Reb, Yankee Bill, a West Coaster, Texan, or just a believer in the promise of the American dream, we are defined by how we care for one another, the way we treat our sick, our poor, and our elderly is the measuring stick of our people. Not guns, not free speech absolutism, not wars won, not the size of our mighty military. We are Americans, and we help. Remember this warning very well. When it is your mother, your daughter, your sister, your brother, your father, your lover, or in the case of the person that's reading this and staring at the camera right now, in its own way, my fucking wife, and you are waiting in the dark for someone to save them, you do not forget it when help does not arrive. You do not get over it when someone who could still be here isn't anymore. You may believe that Fox News will insulate you, but I promise you, it shall not. You may believe that the Orange King inspires greater loyalty in the Appalachian heart than an Appalachian has for his own mother, but you are mistaken. Do the right thing. Block these cuts to Medicaid. Save your own political careers, maybe even your souls. Because if you don't, you will only make more people like me. And I promise you, with my last breath, I will be fighting you. I will be organizing against you. I will be in the streets spreading word of your misdeeds. I will be in the hollers with the haints and the howlin' possums, ensuring your sins are known. Men and women will spit on your graves for what you have stolen from them. Children will grow up cursing your names for the parents you took from them. Your cuts are an act of murder against my people, and we will not forget them. We will never forget them. We will never forget those taken from us by the likes of you. Do you understand me? Not ever. Not for a month, a week, a day, an hour, a minute, or even a solitary second. We will see you stripped of your powers. We will see you cast down from your positions. We will see that you harm not a single hair on a single head ever again for as long as you live. We will fight you every step of the way until the last breath is gone from the last set of Appalachian lungs. Get over it. Old sons, we will put you under before we get over it. Solidarity forever. Okay on that one. Let's run by the numbers here on this. First off, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Make sure that you load the article up yourself and give it a scroll through so it gets some of that algorithmic love. Also, right here on the page, right there, give it a clap. Give it some boost. Make sure also, right here, there's the following button again if you didn't get it the first time. Also, right here, this little button, it's where you can give a tip. If you can afford to do so, give the man a tip. I mean, all of them are really worth it. This is a really good one. I mean, no, it's not a good one in the sense that it's not, a topic that I really wish that, you didn't have, God, how to phrase this. I really wish it wasn't circumstances where this was a necessary thing to write. I really wish you didn't have to do that. That this didn't exist. That we lived in a better world and you could, more freely sit and write stories about, going to rally and having a weekend being wasted. That was a fun one. I'm not saying this is bad to write or that the politically charged ones are negative to write. I just wish you didn't have to. But give them a tip if you can afford to. It does help. I'll also have a link to the Ko-Fi down in the description of the video as well. And though I haven't called it out explicitly terribly much in recent times, bear in mind, Coyote's got a book. It is available on Amazon, The Life, Death, and Rebirth of Jimmy Wonderful. Sorry, American Mystic, The Life, Death, and Rebirth of Jimmy Wonderful. And for a third time to get that nice advertising cadence, have you bought your copy of American Mystic, The Life, Death, and Rebirth of Jimmy Wonderful? Available on Amazon. Published by Nightmare Press. Also, there will be some more books coming down the pipeline as I understand it, so keep an eye out for those. I know I am. I know I haven't talked terribly much with Coyote about his mother or anything like that, but I have gathered enough of an understanding. I mean, he's expressly stated it, but I have an understanding of exactly how much she meant to him. I've known that for a minute, so when it reached that part of the article, I feel that, dude. I know for my own part, yeah, no. My wife passed away from cancer. Just barely even 30. No, she didn't even hit 30. And probably would have been able to catch it sooner had, the costs of medical in general not been such a astronomically high, predatory fucking business in this country. It was horrifying by degrees in a different way than the story you had there, Coyote. But I feel you, dude. We need to have a drink at some point. That's gonna be a thing. We have a drink and a toast. You cool with that? I'm cool with that. Maybe we'll get that at some point next year. Fingers crossed. I'm still working on that one. But alright. I'm going to continue drinking on my coffee and waking myself up for the day. I'd like to thank you for sticking around through the 40 minutes to this point, including my rambling. And I'm going to go get this posted and ready to go live tomorrow. So, you guys take care. And, deuces.